Hey guys, welcome back to Book Demystified. I'm so glad you're here because today's book completely reframed how I look at the invisible force that's been running my life without me even knowing it. You know that moment when you realize you've been living on autopilot? Like you wake up one day and wonder how you ended up in this job, this relationship, this version of yourself that doesn't quite feel like you anymore. I was having coffee with my friend Jake last month, and he said something that stopped me cold. Dude, I feel like I'm watching my life happen instead of actually living it. He's 28, works a decent job, pays his bills, but he looked exhausted. Not physically tired, soul tired, like he'd been sleepwalking through his own existence. That conversation haunted me because I realized I'd been feeling the same way. Going through the motions, making the same choices over and over, wondering why nothing ever seemed to change. This book flipped that idea on its head and showed me that the giant we need to awaken isn't some mystical force. It's the decision-making power we've been giving away without realizing it. Tony Robbins spent years studying what separates people who transform their lives from those who stay stuck. And what he discovered might surprise you. It's not about willpower. It's not about motivation. It's about understanding the invisible system that's been making your choices for you. Here's what hit me like a ton of bricks. Every single moment of your life, you're making decisions. Not just the big ones, like what career to choose or who to marry. I'm talking about the thousands of micro decisions that happen automatically. How you interpret what your boss said in that meeting, whether you see that setback as failure or feedback, the story you tell yourself about why things happen the way they do. Most of us have been unconscious about this process our entire lives. We react instead of respond. We let our past programming run the show while wondering why we keep getting the same results. Robbins breaks this down in a way that made everything click for me. He talks about how we all have this internal system, beliefs, values, rules that we developed mostly by accident, usually by the time we're 7 years old. And then we spend the rest of our adult lives being controlled by decisions our child self made before we even knew what we were doing. Think about the beliefs you carry about money. Maybe you grew up hearing, money doesn't grow on trees, or rich people are greedy. Those aren't facts. They're programming, but they've been quietly influencing every financial decision you've made since then. Or consider your beliefs about what you're capable of. I used to think I wasn't a creative person because some teacher in 3rd grade said I couldn't draw. For 20 years, I avoided anything that required creativity because of one random comment from someone who barely knew me. Here's the part that punched me in the gut. Tony explains that we're not really making fresh decisions most of the time. We're running old patterns. It's like having a computer with software from 1995 trying to run today's programs. The hardware might be capable, but the operating system is completely outdated. But here's where it gets hopeful. Just like you can update software, you can update your internal programming. The giant within isn't some sleeping superhero. It's your capacity to make conscious choices instead of unconscious reactions. If you're feeling what I'm feeling from this book and you want more of these deep dives, there's a bunch of ways to support us. You can subscribe, drop a like, or even grab the book from our affiliate link below. And if you want to help further, you can send us a tip via the thanks button available on the video. Every bit keeps Book Demystified alive. Robbins introduces this concept he calls the ultimate success formula, and it's deceptively simple. Know what you want, take massive action, notice what's working, adjust your approach until you get what you want. Sounds basic, right? But most people fail at step 1. They have no clue what they actually want.
I realized I'd been living my life like I was ordering at a restaurant without looking at the menu. Just pointing at random things and hoping for the best. No wonder I felt frustrated and unfulfilled. The book taught me something that shifted everything. Clarity is power. When you get crystal clear about what you want and why you want it, something changes inside you. Your brain starts noticing opportunities that were always there but invisible before. It's like buying a red car and suddenly seeing red cars everywhere. But here's what really separates this approach from typical self-help fluff. Robbins talks about the importance of understanding your emotional patterns. We all have these trigger points, these buttons that when pushed, send us into predictable spirals. Maybe for you, it's rejection. Someone says no to your idea, and boom, you're 8 years old again, feeling not good enough. Or maybe it's criticism. Your partner makes a suggestion about how you could do something better, and you hear it as an attack on your entire character. The magic happens when you start recognizing these patterns in real time. It's like having a GPS for your emotional life. Instead of getting lost in the reaction, you can step back and choose a different route. I started practicing this during a particularly stressful period at work. My manager had this way of giving feedback that used to send me into a shame spiral for days. But once I understood my pattern, criticism triggers my "I'm not good enough" story, I could catch it happening and choose a different response. Instead of spiraling, I started asking better questions. What can I learn from this? How can this make me better? What would the person I want to become do in this situation? Robbins calls this asking empowering questions, and it's like having a master key to unlock yourself from mental prisons you didn't even know you were in. The book also dives deep into something most people never consider: the pain-pleasure principle. We're constantly moving away from pain and toward pleasure, but usually we're not conscious about what we've associated with each category. Maybe you've associated speaking up in meetings with pain because you got shot down once. So now you stay quiet and wonder why your career isn't advancing. Or maybe you've associated exercise with pain, so you avoid it and then wonder why you don't have energy. The breakthrough happens when you realize you can rewire these associations. You can start linking pleasure to the things that serve you and pain to the things that don't. Here's what I wish someone had told me at 20. You're not stuck with the personality you have. You're not doomed to repeat the same patterns forever. That anxious, insecure, confused version of yourself isn't the real you. It's just the current version of your software. The giant within isn't about becoming someone completely different. It's about removing the barriers to who you already are underneath all the conditioning and programming. Maybe this book won't solve everything overnight, but if it helps you start making conscious choices instead of unconscious reactions, if it helps you realize that the remote control to your life has been in your hands all along, it's done its job. And honestly, the person you could become when you truly awaken that giant, that person is worth every bit of the journey.